Hi, my name is Nelson, and this is the Sir Nelson online English channel. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to write an essay. An essay is a piece of writing which has 3 parts. We looked at this in the first video. In the first video, I told you that an essay has 3 parts: the introduction, the body, and the general conclusion. We finished learning how to write the introduction. Now we go to the body. What is the body? This is how you write the body. Discussing both sides. When you are writing the body, there are 2 ways. They can ask you to discuss both sides or discuss one side. I'll record another video where I will teach you how to answer questions which require you to discuss one side. But today, I'm going to teach you how to answer questions which require 2 sides. I told you in the first video that you can call them sides, opinions, points of view, viewpoints, perspectives, or arguments. A topic of discussion usually has 2 sides. For example, discuss the advantages and disadvantages of smoking. It means you must give the 2. The first side is for advantages. The second side is for disadvantages. Introduction. Don't choose or agree with any side in the introduction. The topic is discuss the advantages and disadvantages of smoking. We are going to develop a full essay. So an essay begins with an introduction. So begin with the introduction, which I already told you. For example, there is a general discussion on the issue of smoking. That is the general statement. Some people say that smoking should be regulated. That is the first side. However, others claim that it should not be abolished. That is the second side. Both sides have strong reasons. You respect both opinions. In my opinion, I agree with the former view and I'm against the second idea. This don't write. Why? The question tells you to discuss both the advantages and disadvantages. So we don't need your opinion now because you have to give both. So the words in red should be omitted when you're writing your introduction. The reasons are presented below. Remember, this is my example. I taught you many other ways of many other words that you can use instead of this. Pause the video and write the introduction. Only the introduction. The question is, discuss the advantages and disadvantages of smoking. Practice. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of smoking. Write the introduction. Pause the video and begin writing. You can write in your book or the WhatsApp group. If you write in your book, find time, come to school, and I will mark your work. Write the introduction, pause the video, and start writing the introduction. If you cannot come to school, go to your WhatsApp group, write, and I'll see I will see your introduction from there. Now we go to the body. When you're writing the body, you begin with a signpost to show your first point. It is good when you're writing or speaking to show the listeners or the reader your first point, the second point. A signpost shows you where you are going. These words show us that this is your first point. First, firstly, first of all, first and foremost, to begin with, to start with. The first point is that, for one thing, in the first place, in the first instance, on the one hand. Use one of these words to open your paragraph. Topic sentence. After the first signpost, we go to what we call the topic sentence. This shows the topic of the paragraph. In a paragraph, the most important word sentence is the topic sentence because it shows what the paragraph is about. For example, on the one hand, remember, on the one hand is our signpost to show that this is my first point. But you don't have to use on the one hand all the time. You can use any of those words. On the one hand, people who say that the advantages are more than the disadvantages give the following reasons. That sentence is called the topic sentence. It is underlined. It shows what the paragraph is about. The paragraph is about advantages. I have clearly said that people who say that the advantages are more than the disadvantages give the following reasons. It means the paragraph is for advantages only. First, the word first is to show I'm going to give the first advantage in the paragraph. The following reasons. First, the governments and people get a lot of money. Governments and people get a lot of money. That is the first advantage. This paragraph is for advantages. You have to show us in the topic sentence that this paragraph is for what? It is for advantages. You give the first, you put a signpost to show that this is my first advantage. And the first advantage is governments and people get a lot of money. Remember, this is one paragraph, don't break it. Practice. Write a paragraph with a signpost, topic sentence, and one point. Pause the video and write your paragraph. Give only one point. This is mine. There are very many advantages of smoking. You can choose any and you write it there. Only the point. Pause the video and write your introduction up to the point where we are. If you can, write in the book, but if you do that, you must make sure you come to school and we mark you. If you cannot come to school, go to the WhatsApp group and type your paragraph there. Next, give specific examples. Remember, we are developing our body, our paragraph, our first paragraph. After giving the point, you are supposed to give specific examples. But you must tell us that this is the example. So you can use some of these phrases. We are going to practice. At the end of the lesson, you will be able to remember them. Number one, for example. Number two, For instance, number 3, a concrete example can be given. Number 4, take dash for an example. It is a very obvious case. I'm going to give you an example using that, and you will learn how to use this in a sentence. I'm not yet done. There are other phrases. There is one impressive example I want to mention here. It means you're going now to start giving examples. Let us see an example. Number 7, it is best illustrated if given the following example. Number 8, we could take dash as an example. Number 9, dash is an outstanding example. Number 10, let me provide an example. Number 11, an example of this fact is. Number 12, perhaps the most important example of this fact is that. Remember, all these are signposts to show that you are giving an example. Whenever you give a point must be explained. You explain by giving examples. But you don't have to give only one example. You can give many other examples. If you have finished giving the first example, you can give a second one. You can use some of these phrases. Number 1, in order to see this point clearly, let us see another example. Number 2, I can give you another illustration about it. Number 3, in fact, another good example of this fact is that. Let me give you an example to see what I'm talking about. We are adding more information to our paragraph. Remember, I'm taking you step by step. I'm showing you how to develop a paragraph. As a student of English, you should learn how to develop a paragraph. You don't just come and present ideas without any organization. Follow the steps and you will be on your way to learning how to organize your ideas in a paragraph. Example. On the one hand, people who say that the advantages are more than the disadvantages give the following reasons. We are still on the same point, but we are adding on more information. We have our topic sentence. All the words that are underlined, that is the topic sentence. The most important sentence in the paragraph. In our paragraph, it shows that the paragraph is about advantages. On the one hand, is a signpost to show that this is my first point. First, a signpost to show that I'm giving the first advantage. Governments and people get a lot of money. That is the first point. How? Which governments? Which people? Which money? Take China, for example. I'm going to give an example in China. So I say, take China, for example. That means I'm going to give you an example in China. Which example? It is take China for an example. It is a very obvious case. That phrase you memorize as it is. Its government collects millions of taxes. I don't know how much, but I'm using the word millions. That means a lot of taxes. The Chinese government collects millions of taxes from companies that sell cigarettes. That is an example of which government gets money and how much. I don't know the exact figure, but I say millions. If you know the amount, you tell it. You can say, in 1999, the Chinese government earned this amount. But what is important is to give a specific example. The point, governments and people get a lot of money. Which people? Which government? I have answered it, the Chinese government. But you don't have to give one country. You can say China, Uganda, Kenya, Somalia, and you tell us how much money they earn from that. So that is an advantage. I'm giving an advantage means the good things of smoking. I can give you a second example. Now I'm giving you a second one. The first one is not enough. I'll give you a second one such that you understand. So I put a signpost. I can give you a second example. Many Chinese sell cigarettes on the streets and are able to feed their families. This is the second example. Our first advantage is governments and people. Which people? The people of China, the Chinese. But you can change. You don't have to give examples from one country. You can go to another country. Many Ugandans sell cigarettes on the streets and are able to feed their family. That is an example to support my point. Practice. Develop your paragraph and give at least 2 examples. Remember, create your own point. This is mine. Don't copy. I'm just giving you an example of how to organize your ideas. I want you to develop your paragraph. Pause the video. Write the paragraph. If you can, write the paragraph in your book and bring it to school for marking. If you can't, go to WhatsApp, write your paragraph and send it there. Practice makes perfect. The more you write, the more you learn this. Pause the video, write your paragraph and send it. Remember, we are learning how to develop a paragraph. How to develop a paragraph in steps. I'm showing you the different parts of a paragraph. Adding another point to the topic sentence. We are developing our paragraph. We are adding on more information. Now we are going to learn how to add another point. We can use words like number 1, in addition, number 2, furthermore, number 3, moreover, number 4, what is more, number 5, for another, number 6, besides. These words are used to add more information to the topic sentence. In our paragraph, the topic sentence tells us that this paragraph is for advantages. We have given the first advantage. We give a second one, a second advantage in the same paragraph. Example. On the one hand, people who say that the advantages are more than disadvantages give the following reasons. First, governments and people get a lot of money. Take China, for example. It is a very obvious case. Its government collects millions of taxes from companies that sell cigarettes. I can give you a second example. Many Chinese sell cigarettes on the streets and are able to feed their families. Yes, we add on another part. In addition, smoking helps people get friends. This is another advantage in the same paragraph. We have given the first one, we have given examples, now we give a second advantage in the same paragraph. We write the word in addition. In addition means I'm adding more information to the topic sentence. Remember, I have given you many synonyms. You don't have to use in addition all the time. You can use 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In addition, smoking helps people get friends. How? You give an example. When you give a point, you develop it. You support it with examples. I will write the word, for instance. I gave you very many phrases which show that you're going to give an example. For instance, in many public places, smokers hide and smoke together. As they talk, they become friends. They ask for matchbox, help me. But when they are talking, they are making friends. They're becoming friends. Smokers at a party, smokers will always stand up. They will go somewhere and they start talking. They create many friends, and that's an advantage. A friend is a good person. We all like friends. So smoking can help you make friends. I've given an example. Examples help you to understand, to show that you understand the point. Smoking helps people get friends. How? You explain. Pause the video. Pause the video. Now develop your paragraph again. This time, add the second, add more information to the topic sentence. Yes, we have finished. We have finished the first point. Now we go to the second point. To go to the second point, don't confuse the second point with the second idea about the topic sentence. You are adding, in addition, you are adding something to what is already there. A second point is a new point. So you can use one of these words. Secondly, the second reason is that, number 4, in the second place, number 5, another point to consider is that you can also use 6. It should also be noted that, so you don't have to say secondly all the time. You can use these phrases. Number 7, it might also be noted that. Number 8, another reason is that. Number 9, on the other hand, practice. On the other hand, those who say that the disadvantages outweigh the disadvantages, oh, that's a mistake. Those who say that the disadvantages outweigh not that, the advantages, give their reasons as follows. Now we are on the second point, on the second paragraph. We have finished the paragraph of advantages. Now we go to the paragraph of disadvantages. Those who say that the disadvantages outweigh means more than. So the topic sentence clearly shows that this paragraph is for disadvantages. First, then you give the first disadvantage. You don't have to use the word first. I've given you many other words you can borrow. First, give the first disadvantage. After giving the disadvantage, give the example. For example, give the example, you follow the example up. In addition means you add a second disadvantage. And then you give an example. Writing the general conclusion. Pause the video and then write your second point. Writing the general conclusion. Remember, an essay has introduction, body, and general conclusion. I have taught you how to write the introduction and how to write the body. So our body has 2 paragraphs. One paragraph for advantages and another paragraph for disadvantages, but well organized, because the question told us to discuss both the advantages and disadvantages. After, you must give the general conclusion. You begin with the signpost. The signpost will show us that this is the general conclusion. You write words like, in conclusion, therefore, so as I see it, it can therefore be argued that from what has been discussed above, we may finally draw the conclusion that these words show that this is the conclusion. 5. Now, after close examination, one can conclude that. Example. In conclusion, therefore, I agree with the second point of view that smoking should not be banned. Remember, in the introduction, you did not give your side because the question tells you to discuss both sides. Now, your opinion should be given in the last paragraph. You agree with what? In conclusion, therefore, I agree with the second point of view. Of course, you can agree with the first or the second. Agree. I taught you many other ways of saying agree. You don't have to use agree all the time. I agree with the second point of view that smoking should not be banned because the government and the people get revenue and smokers easily find friends. You repeat the topic sentences, the main points that you gave. If you say that, if you agree that smoking is good, go back. On the one hand, first, governments and people get a lot of money. That point, that topic sentence is what you put in the conclusion. If you agree with this paragraph, go to first and the one where you put in addition. In addition, smoking helps people get friends. So in the conclusion, you put the 2 points first and the one you put where you put the word in addition. In the conclusion, therefore, I agree with the second point of view. What is the second point of view? That smoking should not be banned. The opposite is should be. But for me, I say should not be banned because it is good. Why is it good? That people get money and smokers easily get friends. Practice. Write a general conclusion for your essay. Only the general conclusion. Pause the video before you continue. Write your general conclusion in your book or send it to the WhatsApp group. Next, synonyms of advantages and disadvantages. Remember, I told you synonyms mean different words, same meaning. You don't have to use advantage, disadvantage, advantage, disadvantage. Instead of advantage and disadvantage, you can use, these are the synonyms of advantages: pros, merits, positives, benefits, strength. These are the synonyms of disadvantages: cons, demerits, negative, drawbacks, weaknesses. Let me take you back to my example. Those who say that the cons outweigh the pros give their reasons as follows. You don't have to use the word disadvantage, advantage all the time. Show that you have enough vocabulary. Learn this. Lastly, discuss the advantages and disadvantages of smoking. Now, write the full essay. The full essay has introduction, body, and general conclusion. The introduction is 1 paragraph, the body 2 paragraphs, and the general conclusion. So you are going to write 4 paragraphs. Pause the video, write the 4 paragraphs together. First, you are writing them separately. Now I want them together. You can now send your full essay to the WhatsApp, or you write it in your book. Come to the school. I'll be happy to meet you and mark your work. See you next time. Bye-bye.